one problem, it's another problem.
It looks like they may be having some technical difficulties.
Any tech problems over there? Guys?
Yes, just a little bit.
Okay,
2 minutes.
thanks. Are we live? Can I get confirmation?
About 30 seconds.
Okay.
I think he'll come in and give us the thumbs up.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone, to the April 28th, 2022 regular meeting of the Encinitas Planning Commission. I'm calling this to order at 6:05 p.m. Please turn off your cell phones or set them to vibrate. We have agendas and speaker slips up against the door. Let the record reflect that 4 sitting planning commissioners are present tonight, with Commissioner Ehlers is no longer part of the commission as of April 13th. My name is Kevin Doyle, I'm Vice Chair, and I'll be acting chair for this evening. We start each meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let's see, we start each meeting with oral communications, where anyone wishing to speak on a topic that's not on tonight's agenda may request to do so by filling out a white speaker slip. They're available in the back. Comments or questions during oral communications cannot be addressed or discussed by the Planning Commission or staff, but may be referred to the appropriate staff for action. Dina, do we have any oral communications tonight?
We do. We have 3 speakers. First up is Dan Murray.
Acadia resident.
Here, pull the mic a little closer to your...
Yeah.
Thanks.
Can you hear me now? All right. Good evening, Planning Commissioners. My name is Dan Murray. I'm a Acadia resident. First of all, I want to thank you guys for protecting our quality of life here in Encinitas. I appreciate all the work that you guys do, the commissioners do on a monthly basis to protect our quality of life from getting overdeveloped and inundated by bars and in other areas of San Diego, like other areas of San Diego. Over the last several years, I have read multiple articles in the newspapers regarding bar activity in our downtown areas, which has me concerned. It was when I saw this powerful video of Alexandra Wood, who addressed the City Council in October 2021, when I figured I would come and thank you for your service and address the issue. Instead of me talking about her remarks, I think it'd be more powerful to just watch the presentation and go ahead and show it now. Thank you. And like I said, this is back in, I'm sure some of you might have seen this before. It was back in October.
Is this?
Okay,
there we go.
Thank you.
Dear Mayor and City Council, I stand before you today to share my story and address the mothers, fathers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, neighbors, and friends that are here with me tonight. My name is Alexandra Wood, and I am the woman who was sexually assaulted and then followed home in Encinitas on the night of July 24th. While the details of my assault are very important, I am not here to share them with you. I am showing up here with every bit of strength that I can muster to plead with you to please act on what is currently happening in our town. When I shared my story openly on social media and then again with the Coast News, I was both heartbroken and alarmed at the number of women who came forward to share with me that they too had been sexually assaulted while in downtown Encinitas. More specifically at the bars Shelter, Saloon, First Street, and Death by Tequila. I stand here today asking for your support in a thoughtful response and approach to this situation and pattern of sexual assault and violence that is occurring in our town. I am disappointed in our Sheriff's Department, the owners of the bar, and our city officials for the lack of acknowledgement on this situation. Just last week, when my story was posted in the Coast News, a man named David Chapman, who I do not know, called the City Council, meeting on behalf of his friend, who was also drugged to near death at the bar shelter. Yet, there is still a lack of response from our city officials and Sheriff's Department to take action and to support the victims of these horrible traumas that we have endured. And I am curious as to why. I'm not seeking sympathy or an apology. I am here to ask for an actionable plan that will help to protect other women in our community and prevent further assaults. It is time to unveil what is happening in our town. Silence is no longer an option, and our community is relying on our leaders to be honest and actionable. Please give serious consideration to the following suggestions. Putting lights on Vulcan so people can walk home safely of all ages at all times. More police patrol in downtown. Sadly, there's not enough. Undercover police in the bars. There are things happening and they're known. I don't know why this is not a thing. People need to go to the bathrooms at the bar. Monitor capacity in bars and underage attendees. Monitor business license owners, employees, and train them to beware of date rape circumstances. And please, take a little time to go on Yelp and read all of the reviews of Shelter. I am happy to provide many of pages. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I hope that the leaders of our community take the time to reach out to me in regards to my experience in this town.
Just real quick, thank you guys again. We know that you will do what you can to preserve Encinitas, stop the proliferation of bar sprawl and the associated problems that can come with these establishments. We will be here to support you in reducing that bar sprawl and preserving the quality of life in our community. And that's pretty much just why I came here, to just thank you guys for that and bring that to attention. Thank you very much.
Okay. Our next speaker is Jeannie Lowe.
Good evening. My name is Jeannie Lowe. I'm been a resident of Lucadia over 20 years. My husband's been in the same house over 40 years. And throughout this time, we've experienced lots of growth and change in Encinitas, Leucadia area, and I'm here very much in support of what Dan Murray has just said about concern about the proliferation of bars. It seems to be spreading down the highway, not just in downtown Encinitas, but more towards the Leucadia area now. And I share his concerns. And at the same time, I want to thank you for your good work and your consideration of the quality of life that we've had here in this area, and support you in continuing to. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Well, once again, I'm thankful to all of you that volunteer your time and give consideration to the quality of life here in Encinitas, Leucadia area. But things are changing, and we'd like to point out to you that all these liquor licenses are becoming a grave concern for preserving the residential quality of our town. So thank you.
And finally, Tom Frank.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tom Frank, Leucadia resident. I've only lived in my home for 25 years, so I'm relatively a newbie. But I did want to just, voice my support for what the prior two speakers have mentioned. And again, I really thank you for all the hard work you do. I know the packages or the packets which you review are really in depth, and you spend many hours in here. About 20 years ago, I was actually a commissioner with the city for the traffic commission at that time. So, and I'll just say that I'm not sure if I could do the heavy lifting of what the planning commission does. So thank you for that. I did want to also mention that property tax on residential property carries 65% of the revenues for the city, whereas sales tax, all of the sales tax, not just alcohol sales tax, just covers 18% of the revenue for the city. So from a financial standpoint, it's much more important to preserve the residential property values and quality of life for residents in Encinitas. And that's what really brought me to this town. I was in Bird Rock, the Pacific Beach area, and it just became saturated. And even in my 20s, I could not stand the saturation, the overzealous alcohol flowing in that community. So I had to come up to this fresh area, this beautiful coastline with massive active transportation opportunity. So yeah, I just wanted to show my support, and just I appreciate all your efforts to do what you do and put recommendations forward to City Council for good land use planning decisions. And please really consider, the sprawl or the spread of bar use, especially on the residential areas. I did want to note, because I know your agenda item, which you'll be discussing today, is a sushi bar on item number 8A, and I know this is tied to my oral comments, so I'm trying not to speak out of turn. But I did want to say that I do support that application. I think it's terrific. And the reason why is because it's taking a Type 47 ABC license, and it's actually eliminating it, and it's going forward with a Type 41, which is a beer and wine. So that is exactly the type of restaurants that I want to see come forward, and I can't wait to eat in it. I'm really excited about it. So once again, thank you for everything you do, and I really appreciate it, and we'll be behind you to support you in the tough decisions you make. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, let's see, Dina, are there any changes to the published agenda?
There are no changes tonight.
Okay, the consent calendar is next up, and these items are considered non-controversial or routine in nature. All consent items are usually voted collectively in a single motion without any staff presentation, public comment, or commission deliberation. If a member of the public, though, or one of the commissioners requests an item to be removed, that item will be removed and be given an individual hearing. To pull an item from consent, use a pink speaker slip, or I'll ask the commissioners. First off, has anyone pulled any of the items?
No items.
The items tonight are very simple. We have 3 approvals of minutes for the meetings on February 3rd, 2022, February 17th, 2022, and March 3rd, 2022. All sitting commissioners were present at those 3 meetings. Let me see, what do I need here? I think I need a motion.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Should we do the, let's see. I'm in the wrong place. Let the record show we have a unanimous vote of all sitting commissioners 4 to no, with 1 commission seat left unoccupied. We move on next to our regular agenda. I didn't miss anything, did I? Next up is our tonight's regular agenda. We have 1 item in front of us. It's item 8A. Project name is it Teka Bar or Tamaki Bar? Minor use permit. It's case number multi 5038-2021, use permit 5040-2021, and coastal development permit 5097-2022. This is a public hearing to consider a minor use permit and a coastal development permit to establish a Type 41 beer and wine restaurant with associated improvements, and to convert an existing 3,910 square foot restaurant into a sushi restaurant with minor exterior changes. Project's located at 575 South Coast Highway 101 in downtown Encinitas. Do we have any disclosures? Hearing none, I think we'll move on to a staff presentation. We have Jay DeCoso here to present to us. Take it away, Jay.
Hello. Okay, good evening, Commissioners. I'm covering for Senior Planner Nick Kotafidis to present the project to you. As you know, as Commissioner Doyle had presented, this is the use permit for Tamaki Bar for alcohol service. Site location is 575 South Coast Highway on 101. The use permit is a request to serve beer and wine at Type 41, as you've been told, for a proposed restaurant. The project is located near the intersection of South Coast Highway 101 and East Street, and the site itself has been historically restaurant uses. So the restaurant use would be maintained with the change of the alcohol permit. Primary access is from 101 and the rear parking lot. Here's a quick snapshot of the photos of the vicinity. As you know, it's in the established downtown commercial 101 area with a variety of commercial only, residential only, and mixed uses. Very popular area, as you know. The primary discretionary actions is a use permit, which would authorize the Type 41 for beer and wine only. And your other action included with the use permit is to revoke the previously approved Type 47 for the former Via Italia and subsequent Eve juice bar. And also a coastal development permit because the project is located in the coastal zone. In summary, primarily the project, apart from the licensing, is a tenant improvement. Tenant improvement is shown to you how to understand the restaurant operation and the alcohol operation, since the two are interrelated. What's primary features of the floor plan changes is basically the realignment of the hallway to along the south wall, and relocating the men's room to the adjacent women's room, and the inclusion of a large bar area in the center of the dining area. Fire condition F5 is included to monitor the room capacity given the open dining room and the rear dining area. The front facade will largely remain the same except for proposed awning replacement and a few planters. And the awning replacement will be covered under separate building permits for building permits for consistency with the downtown specific plan and the municipal code. Because the project is a tenant improvement, the only physical changes with no square footage. No additional parking is required. The key project features include alcohol sales, and as you know, and consumption is prohibited in the public right-of-way, off-site retail sales for beer and wine only. Retail sales of distilled spirits are prohibited. Food service is required at all times. No live entertainment is proposed. And what's also crucial, as mentioned in the oral testimony earlier, was their specific condition SCB, which regards that video recordings are available to law enforcement for a minimum of 7 days upon request. Oh, thank you. Public input was quiet. CPP meeting was held in late March. No members of the public attended, and a public notice was mailed 2 weeks ago, and no letters were received since then. Therefore, based on testimony in the record, staff recommends approval of the use permit for Tamaki Bar, and that the restaurant space has historically been restaurant uses. Therefore, the maintenance and continuation of the restaurant use with alcohol is compatible. Conditions of approval are included to ensure that there are no adverse impacts on the surrounding neighborhood. So staff recommends the Planning Commission approve the project, subject to those conditions of approval, and the memorandum that was provided to you earlier today, which provided for additional conditions of approval regarding compliance with ADA, fire protection measures, and the improvement of the water infrastructure of the tenant space. And this concludes my staff report.
Thank you, Jay. Are there any questions or of clarification for staff? Hearing none, I think we'll open the hearing for public comment. Where did my little hammer go? Does the applicant wish to address the commission? You don't have to, but
I'll just say a quick,
come on up.
hello. My name is Andy Crocker. I'm from T7 Architecture down in Solana Beach. I want to thank you all for your time tonight. And if you have any questions, we have ownership here, so they're happy to discuss any questions you may have. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Dina, do we have any public comment this evening?
We do not.
We do not. Well, I guess, should I leave public comment open in case we have any questions? And we move now to commission deliberation. Does anyone have any thoughts on this?
Yeah. I do have a couple of questions. I noticed that there are some other 41 liquor licenses that all close at the latest at 10 p.m. They close at 9:30, or 10 p.m. And in consideration that minors are allowed at these premises that have a 41 liquor license, I'm wondering why they want to be open until 11 p.m. when others that have the same license are closed earlier. I have a second separate question. Do you have a facade presentation? I see you show the existing. Do you have something in color that shows me your awning and how the facade would look?
We did not include the exterior facade improvements because they were found to be exempt from design review. So the purview this evening is the use permit for the alcohol.
And it seems to me that this is more, we're into commission deliberation right now. It should be us talking. I can imagine why they'd want to stay open until 11, because why not? I will point out that over the last 5 years, since we put the deemed approved ordinance in place, we've pretty much limited every restaurant that's serving alcohol till 10 o'clock. We have always left open the possibility for people to come back and petition to have it raised to a later hour. There's been a couple of exceptions. Mastro's Steakhouse on Cardiff Row was more of an entertainment venue as well. So I was going to bring up the same thing. It was like every other restaurant, because we do have only 2 bars in the downtown Encinitas area. And one of them is a split. We have First Avenue Bar, which is our only true Type 48 bar, doesn't have to have food. And we have the saloon / shelter. and they're both covered under the same liquor license, the Daily Double. So they are open later, but our restaurants close at 10, and we kind of clamped down on that. Back, we had a lot of issues back in the day when I first started the commission, where a lot of restaurants were pushing the tables to the side, and then, you know, woo-hoo, open until 2 p.m., 2 a.m. And so that's when we put in the conditions to insist on full menu available at all times. And I know you guys are a high-end restaurant, and I'm expecting this is going to be good for you regardless. But for tonight, I'm going to push for a 10 p.m. end to the alcohol service. And that, I love this project, and I'm happy you guys are high-end sushi restaurant.
So I actually am okay with the 11 o'clock. Just as a person who goes to restaurants and is oftentimes looking for places to go that are open later, I think it might be a good addition to downtown Encinitas to have a place where people can eat on the later side, and it is sushi. It's not a bar and grill with hamburgers. So I do think it might attract a different clientele as well. And I also do think it's okay to have, or maybe encouraged to have places where people can eat. If we do have issues with public intoxication and people drinking without access to food, it could be a benefit to have a place that is open where food is available for people to eat, to help with the sobering up process and kind of change the dynamic of the evening a little bit for some people. So I would support it at 11 p.m. I do think that there are a lot of people who would, especially probably on the weekends, use 11 p.m., up to 11 p.m. to eat.
I can see your point. I'm thinking of Third Corner, which also serves food and is open late. I think they're open until midnight. They've been that way for quite a number of years, and I agree. It's awfully nice to stop in on the way home from the airport and know you can get food. But let's hear from our other commissioners.
I support 11 o'clock. I'd rather not push something down the road, like let them come back to extend it later. Let's just give it, you know, an appropriate time now and be done with it and not have them come back. So,
Susan, where would you come in on that? 11 or 10? I mean, we've had two.
Well, the problem that I have with the 11 p.m. is the fact that the liquor license, which is a number 41, allows minors access. And I just don't think minors need to be in a place serving alcohol until 11 p.m. So to me, it kind of opens a little door there that I'd rather not open. It sort of, I mean, it is great to have a place to serve food past 9. I could see 10 p.m. I could definitely compromise, and although maybe 9 p.m. would be a cutoff in some cases, which we see in town, I don't think we have even one number 41 license that's open past 10 p.m. right now, and I think that's for a reason.
Right, and I know we have, I mean, Death by Tequila was mentioned earlier, and I remember that one was a changeover, didn't come in front of us when they changed hands, since they didn't really change anything. Does anyone, Jay, do you have any information on when they're?
Before Death by Tequila, I'm trying to remember.
I'm more curious about when they stopped serving alcohol.
Well, no, that's what I'm trying to remember.
okay.
I'm using the old restaurant as my
yeah.
reference. Oh my gosh.
It was,
Because I know they moved in without changing permits.
it was
so
the
to speak.
Northern Italian restaurant, I think. I forget the name of it. Missed it
If
when
I
it was
may
gone.
add to your conversation, even though the liquor license serves alcohol to 11, they may always choose to have their business operation close earlier also based on, so in the 11 o'clock might actually serve to their benefit on weekends, you know, Friday and Saturday. They might actually choose to close, you know, at 9, 10 because those on Mondays, Tuesdays, you know, and we don't control those hours as proposed here, but they don't have to use the full length
Yeah,
of time,
well,
you know, and I'm not
yeah,
suggesting
they're not
those hours
obligated
are
to stay
limited.
open.
Right. They're not obligated to stay open. That is correct.
I would be amenable. I could allow the 11 p.m. I mean, given the fact that it is switching from a Type 47 to a Type 41, that's huge. We have a lot of hard liquor, and I don't picture people, you know, I'm looking forward to. I miss, what was the good, we had a sake bar up in Leucadia that I much enjoyed, but went away. And so I don't know, I would entertain a motion there's no other comment.
I'm sorry, I'm just
Am I
going to
missing
step
things?
in. No, you're fine. I just was trying to find the condition of approval, Jay, that had the hours of operation. Can you just reference
Yeah, give me
which
a
one it
moment
is?
here.
Let me get that here.
Just want to make sure that it's in there.
Close-up glasses.
It was alcohol, where was it?
Yeah, I think, I know that it's in the staff report, I just
I-
don't believe that it got carried over.
I-
So if it's not, I just want to make sure that it gets
I
added.
thought I did see it. Sorry if I missed.
Page 7 of your report here, Lucadia Pizza closed, earlier. I see they have the 41 license. I see Encinitas Cafe closing at 9 PM, Caro Restaurant closing at 9:30 with the 41. I see East Village Asian Diner, also a 41, closing at 10 PM. Honey's Bistro and Bakery closing 3 PM. Taco Stand closing 10 PM. All of those have the 41. Plumeria closing at 9 PM. I just don't see any others on that list that are open later. So, to me, it seems like the reason for that is the type of license. Being a 41 means that it allows access for minors into the establishment. It's not the same as a 47 or 48 license.
If I may add, Anna, we can add that condition to solidify it.
Thank you. Yes, I see on page 3 of the staff
Yeah.
report,
Alcohol-
there's,
It's alcohol 3. It's left out of the actual conditions in the resolution.
Yeah,
yes, there's indoor and then. there-
outdoor.
Correct.
Yeah, there would be an indoor and outdoor, 3 and 4 alcohol.
I do have a question, Kevin, for the owner, out of curiosity. Would video surveillance be part of your normal operation, or would you be providing that only to satisfy the sheriff's special condition?
Planning Commissioners, Marco Gonzalez with Coast Law Group on behalf of the applicant. There will be regular video surveillance in the establishment that will be available. And I would like to point out also, just Type 47 and Type 41 licenses, neither of them restrict minors' access. So if you go to Beer Garden or recently approved Bird's Eye Kitchen, which are Type 47s now, they're open later on the weekends, and minors are allowed until that 11 PM period. Thank you.
Thank you. I really don't have a problem with the hours. If minors are there at 9 o'clock or 9:15 or 10 o'clock, if they got alcohol, that's an enforcement issue or some other issue with pretty severe consequences to the owner. So I think,
Yeah.
upright owners do their best to limit access to alcohol. If anything, because the other ones are closing, maybe that's a good reason to try to extend the hours that you can visit downtown and eat at dinner later in the evening instead of have everything shut down at 9 and only go
Yeah,
to bar
I mean, it's
only.
consistent, to 11 to 11. I know we've had a couple where we tried to slice and dice their hours and specify different things for different times. It's like indoor and outdoor. Now, there is the possibility that, just like any other restaurant in Encinitas, that the restaurant could apply for outdoor alcohol service, which, if that's the case, Jay, would there need to be a condition for that?
Anna can speak to the outdoor dining.
The sidewalk cafe policy did just get recently updated by city council to allow alcohol. However, if that is something that they wish to do, then they would need to come and modify the use permit to allow for it before they applied for the sidewalk cafe permit. There are currently temporary outdoor dining areas that those requirements are waived at this time.
If I may also add to Commissioner Dalton's question or stress of enforcement, Alcohol 11 requires, the verification of your age to be served alcohol. And then Alcohol 13 doubles up on that, prohibiting alcohol service to anyone under 21. So again, that just goes back to the whole enforcement issue if somebody is serving a minor alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Make a mo-
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the project as recommended in the staff report.
I'll second.
And can we add the memorandum that
Oh,
was
yes.
also sent
Yes.
around?
Sure, yes.
And the addition of the hours of operation condition, please.
Yes, thank you.
I do have a comment about our entire color scheme of downtown. I noticed when I drove by and saw the facility, none of the other area buildings were black, except one, which is the saloon, which is formerly a historic Daily Double saloon. I don't know, it's completely jet black, the entire building, and it looks really different than everything else on South Coast Highway. So that is why I really would have liked to have seen what your proposed color scheme would be. I would like to encourage you to think about the fact that this is a beach town, basically, that you're building in, that you're operating in. Actually, it's already built. And your color scheme, to be consistent with community character, I really think you need to blend in rather than be black and stand out. I don't know how the saloon got painted totally black. It's jet black, the entire building, 2 stories of it. But it looks like a sore thumb to me. And I'm really hoping that your building will not be that same kind of sore thumb.
Susan, to be fair, I think it's unfair to assume they're going to paint their building black. If they do, I'm hoping for a high-end sushi restaurant-y look.
Not painting it black.
We're into the voting. So the motion passes with 3 votes yes, 1 vote no, and 1 commission seat left unoccupied. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Now we move on in our agenda. Should I bang my hammer for that one? Oh, yes. Close public comment. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Look forward to dining in your restaurant. Now, future agenda items added by planning commissioners. I don't see anything from anyone. I've got things that, Susan?
So what about, do we need to have a future agenda item
For,
because we need to determine a chair?
we have, that's where I wasn't sure if this should be under this item or under the planning commission reports. Because I have this, that's next up on my list.
We will be bringing forward on May 5th the voting of the chair and vice chair.
Should I be still in item number 9 or item 10?
I think you're okay with 9.
9, okay. Our current bylaws do call for us to appoint a new chair and vice chair. It doesn't need to be different. You can re-elect if you choose. In March of each year. We didn't do that in March and April. This is our first meeting in April. So I've requested that this be held at our very first, hopefully our first item on our next agenda on May 5th. We also have something that we could have been going over today, but the commission, I don't know what date that was. We created a subcommittee with Bruce Ehlers and myself to go over the changes to the bylaws as was discussed here. We were going to meet with staff, and then we were going to present back at the commission. That actually never happened. Who knows? I was just along for the ride, I felt. But now we need to finish this. So I'm going to need somebody to join me to meet with staff and go over whatever changes we did.
I would offer to do that, too.
Excellent. So Commissioner Dalton is going to join me on the subcommittee, and hopefully let's just get together as ASAP. And because the changes staff's already done their work, we just need to go over it together and then bring it back. We probably could have done it right here at the meeting, but this was the way we set it up, so that's the way we go forward.
Is there a date for that? Is there a date that we're meeting with staff, or is that to be determined?
To be determined. I'll reach out.
And I'm flexible, so we can make it work. And are there any other planning commission reports? Nobody? How about city planner reports and our follow-up log? Have anything there?
Yes, I do have a few things. One item is that you all approved the annual report and work plan, and within that resolution, it identified Bruce Ehlers to present to City Council, and we can just have the new chair or vice chair. We don't need to make any changes to that resolution. It would just be the default person next, so I just wanted to inform you of that.
Is that normal operating procedure for the chairperson or someone to present that work plan, or was that kind of a personal preference of Bruce's to do that?
I'm actually looking into that right now. That question was asked, and I can get an answer to you.
Okay.
I think it's in our bylaws, and we've only done it twice. This is because we implemented the work plan concept in 2018, and we were going to do it annually, and then now, years passed, and now we're doing our quadrennial report. But we should do it every year. I'm pretty sure it's in the bylaws, and, certainly if it's not, I don't know. I feel we're kind of, our hands are tied on that one. But I guess reading the bylaws, Anna and Scott will sort that out.
There is a required presentation. It's whether or not it has to be the chair that I was looking
Oh, yeah.
into. Okay.
I don't think it was.
I'm not concerned about who does it. I just was wondering whether that was considered a requirement that the commission present something to the.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the next item. The El Camino Real Specific Plan Workshop number 2 has been postponed. It will be renoticed, so once I do know that date, I will let you all know about that one. It was supposed to be for this coming Monday, but it is postponed.
So, and actually, I just read in the bylaws, I can answer that question for you. It indicates that it may either be by the chair presenting a full joint study session or via transmittal to the council. So that could be a written report.
Thank you. The next item is that Coastal Commission will be recommending approval on the inclusionary ordinance modifications updates, and that will be heard on May 11th. And I mentioned already that we'll be bringing forward the chair and vice chair on May 5th. And last night, the City Council voted to allow for the on-street outdoor dining areas to be extended under AB 61 until January 2024. So that is a change from a previous determination. So all of the outdoor dining areas that you see are able to remain until January 2024. And that is all I have.
And I also thought it best to mention the Liebenhain seat is still accepting applications for appointment, I think up until May 5th. They'll have applications till the 5th, and I'm assuming shortly thereafter, the next council meeting, perhaps they'll meet and we'll have a 5th commissioner.
Great.
And, I'm sure that I know there's a lot of talented people there, and we'll see what happens. But that'll be sometime in May.
I have a question that I don't know if it's a question or will require follow-up, but is there any sense of where the city is in its, I'll call it the RENA numbers, right? We set aside or have a target for how many units we should be providing. And where are we in the housing cycle? Are we on a 4-year cycle or an 8-year cycle with HCD? And at this point in that cycle, do we anticipate that we're meeting those numbers, or are we falling short, or are we exceeding?
So I'm not familiar with the 4 or 8 years, I apologize, but I can get you that answer. However, with the next housing element site project that the Planning Commission will be hearing, we will have the updated numbers on where we are at with those RENA numbers and meeting them.
Okay, thank you.
Can you tell us what the next project is?
That is undetermined at this time. We have an idea, but I don't want to confirm unless everything is completed on staff's end.
It's fine, thank you.
Of course.
Just one more thing. I do remember, I think in one of the meetings, I'm sorry, I went on a long vacation, so a lot of things left my brain. But we talked about having a presentation as to where we are on all the different projects, correct? Didn't we talk about that? About a presentation? Oh, I would ask for that perhaps then, to just the housing, the the density bonus housing projects that are still outstanding, that haven't come before this commission, to have just some kind of presentation to explain to all of us where all of them are in the process, whether any plans have been submitted, or if it's just still just a vacant piece of land that nobody's really thought about yet in any kind of particular detail, just so we have an idea of what's coming in the future.
So you're looking for a list of housing element sites and density bonus projects that are currently in the pipeline, just informational on how many we have, where they're at in the process?
Correct.
Okay. I can look into see if that's something that we can present, and I will get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Anna, would that not be already on our city website? It seems like I've seen it.
We have a housing element site table that does show the status on our website, but we do not have all of the non-housing element sites listed. But they are available, they're public records, so if somebody were to ask us for that, we can gather that information.
But it requires a little digging to compile it all together. While we're on the subject of, this is slightly off that subject, but we talked on before about trying to gather together the interpretations that we deal with, and I don't want that item to get forgotten because it's still really key.
It is.
How's that looking?
It is a daily reminder in my calendar.
Okay.
And I am still in the gathering phase, and I just recently asked staff to make sure they had all their hard copies, anything that they can get in their archives to me. So I hope to bring that very soon.
Okay, great. I know that's an interesting data collection experiment, but it's going to be worthwhile. Do I have anything else from anyone? If not, I'm going to call the meeting, adjourn the meeting at 6:50 p.m. Geez, I did that too soon. Next meeting's May 5th at 6 p.m. Thank you, everyone.